Hi there, business owner. Are you looking to improve your business knowledge? Do you want to see behind the scenes of successful businesses? And more importantly, are you looking to build a better business in just 15 minutes each week? If so, you're in the right place. Welcome to the 3Bs podcast. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the 3Bs podcast, your go-to 15 minutes of CPD certified motivation, inspiration and education to help you build a better business. If you're new here, hi, I'm Stephanie. I am CEO and founder of bookkeeping and accountancy practice ABCS UK. We are multi-award winning for helping businesses on a whole business level, not just the finances, to help them build a better business, which is where the podcast came from, so that I could reach more business owners, make better financial decisions, unlock all those data inside their accounts to help them build their business and get to where they need to be. If you're watching us on YouTube, you can see something a little bit behind me that I'm so excited to share with you. If you're listening on a podcast platform, head over to YouTube so that you can see this, because I've done a thing. In true Jeremy Clarkson style, I've done a thing and I'm quite proud of the thing that I have done. If you've been following me for quite a long time, you will know that actually I'm really passionate about helping people understand their numbers in their businesses and their personal lives, to help them make better financial decisions, learn from the mistakes that previous generations have made. And this led me to write a book. So I've been to the House of Commons and talked about the book, and the House of Lords, and many people in the industry, and every single person I've spoke to had said to me, I wish this book would have existed when we were at school, when we were teenagers. I need a copy of that book when it comes out. And without further ado, I have actually released the book. So on the 1st of February 2025, Finance for Life, my first book, became yours. And you can buy it on Amazon in the paperback version or via Kindle ebook if that's more your style. But it's something that every single person should have in their hands. The thought behind it came because my children are now almost 13 and 10, and they are miles ahead of their fellow classmates when it comes to money and finances. They understand money and finances, and they understand business streets ahead of all of their classmates. And that's because they hear me talk about it, and that's because I've given myself a financial education. I am a girl from Scunthorpe. I'm from North Lincolnshire, Yorkshire, and I grew up with not a lot. I remember vividly that my dad earned £20,000 a year, and I thought that was a lot of money, which probably in 1997 it probably was. But that was one earner in the household, and that was it. We didn't have a lot. We didn't really go on holidays. The only holidays we had were £9.50 Sun holidays, where you collected the tokens from the paper and you didn't get a choice of when you went. You sort of filled in the form and that was it. You got what you got, and you had to go wherever they sort of gave you availability. You know, I hadn't had a foreign holiday until I was in my teens, and that was from a payout from a car accident compensation. So we were not raised with a lot. We were not raised with money. We were not financially well off. And that cycle did try to carry on. It really did. And I have made many financial mistakes in my 33, almost 34 years of life. I have made so many financial mistakes. And if I can help people not make the same mistakes I have, or that I've seen my clients make in business and personally, then I'm incredibly happy. So that's where Finance for Life is born. This is where Finance for Life came in. It's my first book. It's your essential guide to smarter financial decisions. It's 182 pages, so it's not hugely thick, but it is something that will take more than 5 minutes to read. It's definitely not a leaflet. It's a lot of words in there. If you're listening on a podcast platform, head over to YouTube, because I am going to show little bits of the book. The book is split into sections, and each section has chapters in it to help you find the bit of the book that's relevant to you. The book was written for 16 to 19-year-olds, but it is actually relevant to anyone who hasn't had that real world financial education that the school system hasn't taught, because it is failing our children. So the sections are a whole lot of history. So that's the history behind financial education, how to stop your money from disappearing, and are you really getting value for your money? Then there's a home section, which will teach you things like buying versus renting homes, bills you'll have to pay, how to manage your utility bills and things like that, and the different options and understanding the difference between them. How to save money and the planet at the same time. Sustainability is definitely something people need to think about if they're not already. Actually, sometimes spending a bit more money is better in the long run, and it's understanding how to work out when to spend and when to save. Your phone and your internet and TV costs, as well as eating well without blowing your budget. So my client Dan Liddell is a personal trainer and a fitness expert. He runs Transform You, and he co-wrote all of the fitness and nutrition sections of the book. So he has given us some amazing recipes, how to eat well, still hit your fitness goals, and not spend loads of money doing it. So I think it's a really great book for anyone really to read. Then you've got your Work Hard and Pay Smart, which is how to stay healthy without spending a fortune, budget-friendly ways to get away on holidays without stressing your wallet, life hacks to save you money and time, and then should you buy a lease or Uber. For those that don't know, I'm a huge petrol head. I love cars and bikes. So I put a lot of information in there about how to understand the running costs and things when you're looking at buying a car, diesel versus electric versus petrol and things like that, and whether you actually need a car or not. But if you're going to make the best financial decision for you, not just in buying the car initially, but on the running costs and maintenance as well. Then there's a Your Career section, which is really important for those who are starting out in the world of work. So understanding your payslip, understanding what actually is going to go in your bank account, understanding how tax works, how national insurance works, and how it's cumulative and added on. So if you're an employer, although you'll be getting a payslip and you might be running it yourself, as a business owner, it might be worth getting the book for that particular section to understand payslips a little better. Thinking about entrepreneurship, starting a business, what you need to know. I've got over a decade of experience now, and as you know from this podcast, we're almost at 100 episodes. I've put all my getting started knowledge into this chapter of the book, and then extra cash on the side, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So side hustles. The media headlines can be quite scary about, if you sell on eBay, we're suddenly going to tax you and things like that. The information on side hustles and when it's relevant, and the trading allowance that we've talked about in the podcast before, is all in that chapter too. And then there's a banking section. So bank accounts, understanding the differences between them, savings accounts, different ways you can do it, both digitally and manually, and finding what works best for you. Borrowing money, how, when, and why, like what type of money can you use, overdrafts, credit cards, loans, why, and understanding that you need to pay that back on top of still living is a real key message I want to get through with this book. And then credit cards versus debit cards. Credit cards are not evil, and which is which, and when to use which to get the best from them without getting yourself into trouble, and also protecting yourself from those larger purchases. All that information is in that section. And then looking ahead, securing your financial future, pensions and retirement. It sounds like a lot when you're 16 to be looking at things like this, but actually the sooner they start the better. And if you don't yet have a pension as a business owner because you're not paying into a workplace pension, now is definitely the time to think about that, and I probably will cover it on the podcast at a later date. And the book's not full just words, there's also tables and recipes, and I put some little top tips in there so that it just breaks up the reading for you. It's not going to be boring for you to read, but it's a guide, and not every section will be relevant right now, but you can come and go from little bits and sections that are relevant. You've got the QR codes there to get the podcast in all its different platforms, and then there's a lot of resources that go along with the book that you can sign up for with the QR code and put in your Amazon order number. And there's the business planning template that we use with our clients in the business. There is a budget spreadsheet and a expense tracker and a savings challenge, and lots of things to help really implement the information that's in the book. The book is full of information, but it's only any good if you actually implement it. So it's really important to me that we can get it into as many hands to read it and also to implement that information. If you send an email to hello@the3bs.com with your Amazon order number, you will get the audio version of this when it comes out later this year. So if you are more of a listener than a reader, it might still be worth you buying the book now so that you get the free audiobook when it's released later this year. So you can listen to me and my northern southern twang narrate the book for you. I also wanted to mention our partners, because this book would not be what it was without the help of lots of people. We had Elizabeth Sullivan, who made the amazing cover for me. We have Aaron Patrick, who's been on the podcast before, who wrote the foreword for me. It's been through multiple proofreaders in different countries that I could not have done this book without. It would not be as good as it is without them. But also our corporate partners. So Apron and Xero. financially donated so that I can donate 200 of these books to schools, colleges, and CIC charities for young adults, so that we really can have a huge impact with this Finance for Life book. So if you are a teacher, or you run an education business, or you've got teenage children about that age and you think your school or college or CIC would benefit from some copies of this book, we do have some that are still, some are already earmarked, but some are still there to be given away. So if you want me to send them to your school or a school that you know of, then do just drop us an email at hello@the3bs.com. I'll pop it in the show notes, as I always do, of the podcast, and let us know, because I love to know that they're going to people that I know. So for example, some of my clients have got children and they're going there to those schools. They're going to my children's schools. They're going to people that I used to go to school with that are now teachers. I'm donating copies to them as well. So it is an absolute miracle that it's made it out, and I am actually really, really proud of it. And for somebody that is quite introverted and cannot take a compliment to save a life, I'm actually really, really proud, and I think I've created something really, really special. So this episode of the 3Bs podcast is quite a promotional one, but I hope you can understand why I am asking you all to, if it feels right, to go and purchase a copy of Finance for Life, because I do think it's going to change so many lives and help fix the economy. If you've got any questions, do just find me on social media, drop me an email, drop me a message. I'm more than happy to speak with you. Let me know about schools, because that would be really helpful. And let me know if you've got a copy. And if you have got a copy, send me a picture of you with the book. Or I've had pictures of dogs with the book. I've had pictures of my mum very proudly holding the book. She's a very proud mum. And I would love to hear what you think of it. I'd really love your feedback. So any testimonials or things would be amazing. And yeah, that's it for this episode. So I hope that has been useful for you. I hope you can see why I've done it and you understand the mission behind it, and see how passionate I am about this book, Finance for Life. It's available on Amazon in an ebook format or in paperback, so whichever suits you better. I think Amazon at the moment have reduced the price slightly to £9.76. I launched it at $9.99 instead of the $11.99 it's going to be initially for a launch weekend offer, which I extended. And then Amazon reduced it. So $9.76 is most likely the cheapest it's ever going to be in the paperback version. It's $7.99 for the ebook version, but the paperback will be going up to $11.99 on Monday. So Monday, the 9th of February. So if you're going to get it now. Buy it for your family, your teenage sons, nieces, nephews, whoever it may be. And if you found this useful, if you enjoy the podcast, do let me know. And like, rate, review, subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. I really appreciate all the support. We're getting close to episode 100, so I'm quite excited about that. We'll have to do something really special. If you've got any ideas, let me know, because I haven't recorded it yet. I will see you next week for the next episode. All the love. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you next week. And that brings us to the end of another episode of the 3Bs podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Please connect with us on social media. Like, rate and review wherever you are listening to this podcast, so that I can help more business owners build a better business. See you next week.